Hi, I'm Dan Cox, and this is your MMA update. With me, as always, my partner in crime, Bomb. Bomb, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, bro. How are you?
I'm fantastic, man. UFC Fight Night 67. It's coming up, but we're not going to talk about that because it's really, yeah. You said it. You said it for me without saying it, did you? We're going to go right to Velasquez, Werdum. Big fight. I mean, I guess the title's online. I don't know which title it is. If it's a unification of, it's just one title. So I don't understand that whole point, the interim thing. I'm not really, I'm tired of it, actually. But I see Velasquez just, if he's on, he's going to take this fight and he's going to grind it right out of Werdum. But Werdum is dangerous, man. His striking is improved. I mean, his ground game obviously is possibly the best in the heavyweight division. How do you see the fight going?
Well, don't forget, Cain does have a pretty decent chin. The only time he's ever been really knocked out is from Junior Dos Santos, and that was kind of a flash, right at the beginning of the fight, caught him cold. Other than that, he's been hit by these big guys numerous times. He can take a punch. Yeah, he's been dropped a couple times, but he's always gotten up, persevered, won the fight. I see the same thing happening against Werdum. I just don't think Verdum's going to be able to hit him clean and knock him down or out. I see it going in the same way it's always gone for Cain. He's going to just break it down. He's going to break Werdum down. He's going to beat him up the whole entire night. It's going to be I think for me, it's going to be a similar situation as the Dos Santos fights. You're just going to see Cain absolutely take control, dominate in the fashion that he always dominates, and just basically beat Werdum into submission almost.
Well, Bum, for me, that is Cain's fight. If he's fighting his fight and he's on, that's the way every fight goes. And I mean, the beating that he put on Dos Anjos 2 times. I mean, JDS was beat down bad. I mean, I don't think people realize what a beating he actually took in both of those fights. But we're looking at someone that's, they say JDS has a black belt in jiu-jitsu. There's obviously a difference because when you watch Werdum, you can see the level of talent he has on the ground. And to me, that is a very big factor in this fight. Cain's a wrestler. He puts you down on the ground. He pounds you out. That's where, Werdum would like the fight to be, I'm sure, if he's not having success with his striking, which, again, has really improved. I mean, you look at some of his older fights, Bomb, and then you see his last 3 fights, and when he went in there and took out Travis Brown and outstruck Travis Brown like that, big statement. I thought he looked pretty bad against the big man, Mark Hunt, until he caught that knee and landed that flying knee. I didn't think he looked very sharp. If he'd have fought Cain that night, he'd have been in trouble.
Yeah, I think, he may want to take the fight to the ground, Werdum. That's his ultimate game plan. But I think when reality sets in and Cain's on top of him on the ground, he's going to wish that he didn't take it to the ground. Because, in my opinion, any top-notch Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy, once they get in there with a top-notch wrestler, the wrestling always seems to cancel out the jiu-jitsu. It's basically because back in the day, wrestling against jiu-jitsu, those guys didn't really know what these BJJ guys were going to throw at them, how they were going to get them into these submissions. Now everybody's pretty much peevy to that. People understand the game a lot more. Cain's one of them. I don't see Werdum getting him in any sort of a submission whatsoever. I think if Cain is on top of him on the ground, it's going to be a very, very bad night for Werdum, and it's going to be worse if he's on his feet. I just don't see Werdum winning this fight at all from any aspect of it. That's why he's interim champ, because he didn't beat Cain at all to win the title to begin with. The title was basically given to him by beating Mark Hunt, who wouldn't even stand a chance against Cain. Look at what Miocic just did to Hunt.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy,
Yeah, that was...
Anybody that's good at striking like that, that's fast, that's evasive, Hunt has a problem with. He showed that with Miocic.
Well,
Same thing with Werdum with Hunt. Werdum was just a little bit more agile, so to speak. Not that he's an agile guy, but
well,
he was against Hunt.
I think he is. I think he's a better athlete, obviously. And that shows. His physical, stature allows him to do, more things. He has more ways to win the fight than someone like, a Hunt, who is, he's either going to knock you out or he's not. I mean, it's that simple. Werdum, though, I'll say this: I believe that Cain's going to win the fight. And if, like I said, if Cain's on, he's going to fight his fight, and that is exactly what you said. He's going to ground him out. He's going to pound him out. He's going to wear him out. He's going to beat him down. But I think that Werdum does have a legitimate chance at winning. And a lot of times we'll say a puncher's chance. In this case, I think he's got two ways. He could land some shots. His striking has improved, or he could submit him. You don't see it often in the heavyweights, but man, don't sleep on Werdum. The guy's extremely talented on the ground.
Oh, I take nothing away from him on the ground at all. I understand his BJJ game is far and above a lot of other fighters in MMA. But when you start comparing the top-notch wrestling against top-notch BJJ, wrestling trumps it 9 out of 10 times. It really does. And you can watch that. It trumps it 9 out of 10 times.
Well, the aggression alone of the wrestler on top, really can dictate how. If you're going to set yourself up to be submitted, if you're not active, if you're, not careful, but like you said, these guys are. This isn't the old days. They know jiu-jitsu themselves, so they're not rookies by any means. Cain, we know, is very good on the ground. But he uses what got him there, which is pressure, endurance, and beating people down, making them quit. I mean, literally, he makes them quit.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head with endurance.
Mm-hmm.
Cain is built on endurance. Cain can fight a 10-round fight. It's so rare for the heavyweight division. You can watch a guy like him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's relatively small for the division, but he can still go. He can go 5 rounds plus. You got these guys like Werdum and Hunt and, Travis Brown and all these other heavyweights, these big heavyweights, Junior Dos Santos.
Yeah.
Perfect example. After a few rounds, he's gassed. He's gassing. He's sucking wind. Cain's the complete opposite. So if Cain's on top of you on the ground or has you pinned against the cage and he's just controlling the fight, he's going to grind you into just gassing. He's going to take everything out of you. He's going to take your last breath from you. He's going to have you struggling just to keep your composure on the ground so you don't, get a beating on the ground as much as you would stand up against the cage.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, Cain has some pretty nasty punch power himself. So, I mean, if he has Werdum winded and gassed, how much longer is he going to last taking some hard shots from a guy that doesn't gas?
That's right. And, let's not forget the altitude where they're fighting in Mexico. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it's higher elevation than going to Colorado. So, that is definitely going to play a role there. How early they go to, acclimate is maybe could play a difference. I know Cain has said that never really bothered him. He's been there. He's trained there. So he wasn't worried about it. But you know what? It's going to come down to if Cain is there and if he's on his game, I think Cain walks through him, But
the only thing I see happening with Cain that is going to stop him from winning this fight and taking the title back that was given away is his layoff. That's the only thing I can see hurting him. Maybe some ring rust if he gets caught. Just like with the JDS fight, if he gets caught cold right at the beginning of the fight, that's the only way I see it going. Or if he's cold, no body sweat, no lubrication, and he does get caught in a submission, but it's going to have to come in that first round. If it gets past the first round, I'd be willing to bet just about anything. Cain Velasquez is going to win the fight, and probably in dramatic fashion.
Well, listen, we both know and agree that his cardio is one of his biggest weapons. So obviously, the longer that fight goes, it's going to get ugly for Werdum, you know. But we got International Fight Week coming up. We got all kinds of stuff coming up. We got McGregor Aldo. I know I want to hit that the next show because that is something, man, we've been waiting so long for it. It's coming up. So
And our Sunday shows, the
no,
new Sunday shows,
exactly.
Collins.
Yeah, because we're going to change it up and we're going to have some of the fans to call in and interact, ask some questions. It's going to be a good time. I know I'm looking forward to it. Listen, if you're on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. It's been great, man. I love it. Bob, good time, buddy.
Absolutely. Thanks, brother.
For LUB-MMA, for my partner, Bob, I'm Dan Cox. This is your MMA update.